Boom, and we're live. What's going on, Chris?
Not much, man. Good to see you.
Good to see
Happy
you, man.
to happy to be here, bro.
All right, I'm so glad to see you again. Last time we spoke, and it's been like a couple months, I think.
Probably like a month and a half.
Month and a half, yeah. So grounding for the call. Looking forward to kind of expressing how we individually went through our own gratitude journeys, the things we learned throughout the journey, what we learned looking back on the journey, get to reflect on our experience, and then some practical tips and tricks, some tools that the gratitude people that are currently going through their ML journey can use uh, in case they get to watch this video.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with number one. What was your experience going through part two and then ML like? Bring me back to it.
Oh man. Well, obviously, without talking about the training.
Yeah.
Hmm. Part two, I kind of walked into it, not really knowing what to expect. Obviously, nobody knew what to expect.
Yeah.
And I'm not really even sure I knew why I was fully there.
Mm.
I had originally went to part one because I wanted to be better at my job.
Mm.
I wanted to be a better employee. I wanted to get closer to my connection with my higher power
Mm.
and just overall be a better guy. And so part one kind of laid the foundation, the groundwork for some of that.
Mm.
And part two is just like it's the next step in the journey, and like the kind of guy I am. If I do something that's like in a program, if I enjoy it, I can't just stop.
Right. Yeah.
All right, I'm committed to going forward to see what's at the end of that road. I may not know what it is. I'm just going to give it a shot. So part two was me giving it a shot to see what was there.
Mm.
And it really, like, I was like a flower. Like, have you ever seen those, like, I think they're morning glories, they're called?
Yeah. Yeah.
Flowers that in the morning they're like really, really like closed.
Yeah.
And as the sun comes up and as the morning brightens, they start to open up.
Mm.
Right? And the flower begins to bloom. So, part two was like, I'm not gonna say I was like fully closed morning glory. I
Mm.
was like a little bit closed. And part two started to really open that
Right.
for me. And I started to uncover who I am and who I'm not, and
Yeah.
being okay with everything on both sides, right?
So for me, part two, I was extremely open and extremely closed at the same time. I came in with an open mind. I came in hoping for, a very meditative kind of retreat kind of thing. That's what I experienced it as.
Mm-hmm.
And I was open in that I came in looking for connection with other people, and that's exactly what I got. But I was closed in that I deliberately intended not to let anything that was said or happened in the room affect me personally. I didn't want to have any like emotional reaction to anything that was going on. And so while it gave me this stability of peace, I wasn't actually doing any of the inner work that would allow me to really get a lot out of it. And so as much as I received from it, there could have been 10 times more had I been open to doing the inner work as well as the outer work.
Mm-hmm.
So go on and tell me, toward the end of part two, what were you thinking about ML?
I mean, I don't know. It was weird. I wasn't like, I didn't sign up right away. Like, I didn't say yes right away. A lot of people on our team said yes right away. I was a little hesitant. Not sure why. I don't know. Something was like, I don't know. I don't know if I was worried about cost or
Yeah.
that was just some bullshit excuse
Right.
to, like, my ego was scripting to kind of not carry on, right? Because
And that's so funny considering how you showed up in ML.
What?
That is so funny to me considering how you showed up in ML.
Yeah. So it was like when we go through transformations, the ego does not want it.
Right,
The
right.
ego fights it because
It's designed to keep us the same.
exactly, right? So, comfort and the ego are close friends.
Right.
They're close relatives.
Yeah.
Right. So, there was gratitude training for me was largely about deconstructing the ego, right? And
Right.
deconstructing the stories that I've been telling myself my entire life, that I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, I'm not a servant, I can't help people, I can't be this, I can't be that, nobody likes me, everybody loves me, I'm
Right.
the best in the world, I'm the worst in the world, I'm the
Right.
best looking, I'm ugly, right? So
Right.
gratitude training helped me to find the middle.
And that's really interesting. And I want to dive really deep into that because I know for myself and a lot of people that I've spoken to about the ML journey afterwards, um, I felt empty at the end of the journey because I had actually done a lot of that inner work and dismantled all of the ego structures. And I was wondering, who the hell am I?
Who are
You
you?
know? Who exactly? Yeah, who am I? And I wasn't sure if I was supposed to answer that with a contract, if that was just brainwashing, if there was really no one under the mask, like what was really going on. Go ahead.
Don't say anything about the training.
Not saying anything about the training,
All right.
but yeah, I was just confused and I didn't know what was going on. So it was only after ML happened that I started to do the work of building myself up from the ground up and deciding who it was that I was committed to being rather than just going off of my old scripted programs. And I was wondering if you had a perspective on that.
Absolutely. So, this has been the greatest gift of gratitude training for me is the question, who am I?
Yeah.
Out of everything that we went through and we've gone through, part 1, part 2, and then 3 months of ML, the greatest gift I've gotten is, who am I? And I'm in yoga teacher training right now, and the greatest question of yoga, forget the physical posture form of yoga, right? The warrior two, that is just 1/8 of the philosophy of yoga, right? But the center of it, the center of the circle of yoga is getting to, who am I? Who am I at my core? Not Chris is an engineer, Noah's a student, Chris is a brother and a son, Noah's a son and a friend, Chris is from New York, Noah lives in Houston. That's not who I am.
Right.
Those are things, right? At my core, who am I? And gratitude training has helped me to start to peel the layers, because it's an ongoing process. It's not like I'm going to go through a training and boom, I'm fixed.
Right.
I'm a guru. I can go be a sage and sit on a street corner in India and lead
Right.
the entire movement. Maybe I can. I don't know. But the peeling of the onion is a process, and gratitude training started that process for me to understand who I am truly. Right? Like I'm a lover. I'm a servant. All right, I'm committed. I'm a unifier. I'm powerful. I'm a leader. And to understand that all of those things in my life don't define me. Like, they don't. What defines me is how I show up to my commitments, right? And what I'm committed to. And I'm committed to being of service, being authentic, and being a lover. So
Interesting.
bringing forth love.
So how did you decide on your commitments, and when you were deciding to craft your identity, what were your inspirations behind that?
It was intuitive.
Mm,
It's just intuitive. You know, my whole life, I kind of told this story that I'm self-centered and I'm selfish, and that's what was told to me. You
mm,
know, like I was always taught, or I was always told that I was selfish and self-centered, and maybe I was. Doesn't matter. That doesn't exist. Does not exist. Right? Um, you know, so maybe there's some of that past story that I told myself, that intuitively I told myself that I'm committed to being of service,
right.
right? Because it's the opposite of what I always told myself I was,
Right.
selfish and self-centered, right? And I always wanted to be a servant, and I always admired people that devoted their lives to being of service. And I always told myself I couldn't be like that I'm not like that. So, you know, gratitude training in this seeking, in this internal journey, I revealed that like I am committed to being of service to everybody. And being of service to everybody does not necessarily mean that I have to go volunteer at a food kitchen, that I have to start an organization, that I have to raise money and publish it on Facebook. That does not mean that I am a servant. It can mean that,
Right.
right? But I had crafted these stories that those were servants and I'm not,
Mm,
right? To me, what we are doing right now is a form of service, right?
amen.
When I talk to my friends and listen to them, that is being of service. When I say hello to somebody on the elevator, that's being of service, right?
I definitely want to
So,
go deeper into that concept. The fact
yeah,
that random small acts of kindness can be a profound gift to someone. For example, just the act of actively listening to someone the way that you do with me and the way that I do with you. I adore you for that, and I thank you for that, and I'm deeply grateful for every time that we get a chance to talk, because you are the epitome of the masculine. You're the epitome of truth and of service, and like everything that you do, man, you're a fucking leader, and I look up to you.
thanks, bro.
Of course. So tell me about the little gifts that you give in a relationship to really build relationships.
Like through gratitude.
Through gratitude, with your girlfriend, with people that you meet on the street. Like tell me about the little gifts that that anyone can give.
Hmm. So I think the greatest gift that I've gotten in the last, I guess, 5 to 6 months of being in gratitude, and now moving on the last like 3 or 4 months,
Mhm.
is through deconstructing all those stories that I've told myself, right? All of the ineffective stories that I've told myself, like nobody likes me, and this, and that, I'm not this, I'm not that, that I'm able to be much more present
Mm,
and not focused on, well, did I say this? Should I say this? I shouldn't have said this. What do I do here? Oh my God, this one likes it. You know, it's like I'm not trapped in what was, what could or should be. So I'm able to be a lot more in the present.
right,
Obviously, I'm not perfect, so I fall short in a lot of areas.
right, right.
Uh, I'm able to be a lot more present. And what gratitude has given me, which is a huge gift in relationships,
Mm,
is to be a lot less judgmental
mm,
and a lot more accepting and loving and tolerant. Because, man, have I realized that I have my own journey, like, and people love the crap out of me no
mm-hmm,
matter what I was going through, and no
mm-hmm,
matter what I am going through currently, right? And through that service that other people have done for me, right? It's been eye-opening, and I'm able to show up for people so much more in a connected and unifying way, right?
mm,
And not like, do this because I think it's best for you, right? Do this because I have been there, therefore you should do it. And
Right.
it's like, I hear you, like I connect with you, I love you, and we'll get through this, right?
Mm.
And I'm able to today show up in a way where like I don't always have to give advice. I always don't have to give answers. It's like, I hear you. This moment is perfect for both you and I. It doesn't always feel like it,
Mm-hmm.
and this too shall pass.
Mm.
And sometimes, like, you know, in the past, I would always have to talk and give advice and press. You should do this and you should do that. And it's like, what we are in the moment is perfect. And it's there because it's perfect. And it's perfect because it's there. Right? It doesn't
Okay.
have to be anything different.
We're getting really deep here. I want to bring it back just a notch.
Yeah,
So tell
sure.
me more about the gift of presence itself and how it's affected your life. Like, talk to me about how to gain the gift of presence, how to experience it, and what it really feels like and how it affects your life.
It's funny. It's like, I don't know if it's, I don't know if it's because I just got tired of being stuck in the past and the future.
Mm,
It's been my, like, it was the story of my life. I
mm.
was always trapped in what I could have done, what I should have done, and what I did do and what I didn't do. Right. And then I was always fearful about what was coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
What could have come. Right. And I just got like tired of it. You know, I got
Wow.
tired of it. I got tired of it. And I started to realize like all of that worry does nothing. It does nothing. Like I thought that like I was controlling the future
Right.
by like worrying, and in the worrying playing chess with my life, right?
So what changed? What changed? Where does the worry change into blank? What is that? Where are you now?
I think that the book A New Earth
Yes, by Eckhart Tolle.
really shifted my perspective. And it's funny because I was on my way down for our build weekend
Okay.
when we did our legacy project,
Mhm.
which was also the part 2 graduation for my girlfriend, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, and I was on the plane, right? And I've flown all over the US. I've been all over Europe like a million times, and flying is still terrifying for
Wow.
me.
Okay.
So I was on the plane and I was like freaking out.
Mm.
I was not living in the present. I was living in the plane crashing.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And there was a lot of turbulence. And I remember getting Wi-Fi, paying for Wi-Fi, so I can WhatsApp our team members and like Connie and Vaughn, so they
Yeah.
can like, talk me out of a panic attack.
Right.
And like,
Good
I remember,
decision, by the way.
yeah, I remember Connie saying like, Chris, it's like perfect. Like you are protected, you are loved. Like be present. And I was listening to Eckhart Tolle's book, and it's hard for me to listen when I'm anxious. It's hard for me to retain, right?
Right.
But I had this like moment of clarity when Eckhart Tolle talked about you will have true freedom in both your mind, your spirit, and your body when you become fully comfortable with uncertainty.
Mm.
That is where you will harness your true power, when you are completely comfortable with being uncertain.
It's very interesting because Jordan Peterson recently has been saying that very same thing in 12 Rules for Life, and all his previous books, that the uh, the masculine is the one who confronts the chaos, who slays the dragon by accepting that he is the order that brings order into chaos, but he has to face the chaos in order to bring order into it. And I think that's such an awesome thing that it's all kind of connecting for me right here in this moment.
Yeah, and on the plane, like as he said that, like I remember I was super connected to it, and I just was at peace.
Mm,
and was not scared of the plane crashing.
that's amazing.
Right? It was like, this moment is perfect and the plane is not crashing. And then the next moment is, this moment is perfect and I am safe.
Mm,
And obviously, like, the fear came back, right?
yeah.
I've flown like 10 times since then and I have experienced some fear. I live my life a lot less fearful and a lot more courageous
Mm,
because I do not fear uncertainty like I used to, right?
that's
And
amazing.
like, case in point, right? I have a great job. Like, I work like right out that window, right? And
Nice.
1 mile from my apartment, and I have an awesome job. I work with amazing people, and it's an awesome opportunity. And Google is looking at interviewing me for a position here. All right.
Boop.
Yeah. Big dog, like, obviously top 5 company in the world to work for.
For sure.
And in the past, I would have been like, the wheels have been turning. Well, what if I say this to the recruiter? What if I do this? What if I say this? What about this? Oh my God, this. Oh my God, my resume. Maybe he doesn't see this. What if he doesn't see this? Maybe I said this wrong. Maybe this word was out of place in the email, and that's why he hasn't contacted me back. Well, what about if I get an interview? What do I wear? What do I say? Oh my God. What if I get the position? What if I get an offer? What does that mean? What does that say about me? Oh my God, what am I? It's like,
Yeah.
nope.
Lots of fast thoughts. Where are
If
you now?
if Google contacts me, then Google contacts me, and that's it.
Mm.
If they offer me an interview, then I go to the interview. If I go to an interview and they offer me a position, then I'll deal with it then.
So what I'm gleaning from this conversation is that when you're present, life becomes very simple.
Yeah,
That
so
our minds, our egos are what complicates it, right?
it's the egos, and for me, it's just the stories that I tell myself about everything.
Right.
None of them are, most of them are never true, and they're they're designed. I don't know what they're designed for. Right? It doesn't really matter.
Right.
Um, for me, as a man and as a yogi,
Yeah.
is to be present, right, and to hover above the mind, look down on the mind, and look at it like, I am not my mind. My mind is just a thing that wanders. I don't have to be it. And if I don't have to be it, therefore I don't have to be my thoughts.
Right.
Therefore I am not my thoughts. Therefore I am not my thoughts.
Right.
So it's a new concept to me. I haven't, like, it's not in my DNA yet.
Right.
But my life is incredibly more calm.
So I recognize that you have this insight and that you are a yogi. And my question is, what is the process that leads to these insights through, like, meditation? Like, what is it that's going on in the mind, in the spirit? Like, how would you describe it?
Well, this ideological framework was laid in gratitude training. Like,
Okay,
these
fair.
are completely foreign to me.
Right.
I started to read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
Is it Eckhart Tolle, or is that Wayne Dyer? That's Eckhart Tolle.
Eckhart Tolle. Yeah.
So I started to read it like 5 years ago when I was experiencing a lot of not anger, like a lot of anxiety. It was a very anxious time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody I was talking to at the time had recommended, read this book. It's revolutionary. And I picked it up and I put it down because I couldn't understand the concepts. They were
Yeah.
too abstract.
Right.
And I just wasn't ready. My soul wasn't ready to listen. And through the gratitude training process, it's all about deconstructing stories about yourself.
Yeah.
So you can reveal your true nature, and your true nature is amazing. Like, you are amazing.
Okay, this is where people get tripped up. I know this for certain. So, what can you tell us about the true nature without revealing anything gratitude?
Like, the true nature of what? Gratitude?
Of humanity.
Me personally, like, obviously there's differing viewpoints on how people view people.
Okay.
I am my philosophy is I believe that all humans are inherently good.
Amen.
I believe that. All of us in our core, we are loving, compassionate, connected, unified beings. And I think that there's things along the way that have us create stories about ourselves and our surroundings, right, that cover that.
Right.
To me, the gratitude training process, the yoga process, is about uncovering what is already there. It's not like I have to get something that isn't there. I'm in search of something. No, I am in search of revealing and uncovering what's already there.
Right. Okay. So
That's what gratitude training has given us.
let's say I'm watching this interview, and I struggle with depression. I have thoughts of suicide. I hate myself. I am going to ML because, I loved part one. I loved part two. It was a profoundly transformative experience. And yet I still find myself slipping back into those old stories like no one loves me, life isn't worth living, things like that. What would you say to a person like me?
Like, everybody goes through that. Like, I think a lot of people, myself included, because there have been times in my life where I did not want to live. Multiple times in my life. I mean, obviously, right? I'm in recovery 15 years, right? So that means that I've had a very tumultuous past.
Right. Yeah.
And the part of my life prior recovery was very, very dark. And there have been times in recovery that have been very, very, very dark. And I think a lot of depression and feelings of suicide and disconnection and self-loathing and all of that is, we feel like we're unique, right? And that like our stuff is worse than other people's stuff and nobody understands. It's like we all go through this. Everybody goes through this.
Right.
Like, you are not alone.
So
what you have gone through, I have gone through, or somebody next to me has gone through, or somebody on the other side has gone through. We're all connected somehow. Like, we're not unique. And in that not uniqueness, we're connected, right? And that, like, it's going to pass. Like, this too shall pass. It's not permanent. This moment is not permanent. It's gone. So, like, why do I have to believe that what I'm feeling right now, I'm going to feel 10 minutes from now? I may, but there's a possibility that I won't.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? I may feel like it 3 days from now, but maybe 4 days from now I won't. Right? So like, there's impermanence in everything. Like, nothing is permanent.
Right.
Including the way that I feel.
You touched on something really profound there, because during this conversation, I realized that the two major sources of my own depression were the fact that the belief that people are untrustworthy and that all human beings are inherently evil and self-centered at their core, because that's what I believed about myself. That's what I believed about everyone else. And two, that no one is worth trusting, that I can't trust myself and I can't trust anyone else. And with those two beliefs, you create a mental prison for yourself, so isolating and so desperate that no matter what you do, because you're just going to keep bumping up against those bars. My question is, what would you say to someone who has created that prison for themselves?
Well, see, it's funny, and I'm smiling because, right, it's like I've been there, right? And I show up to my life the way I show up for myself. Like, I can't be anything different. It doesn't last. I could fake it.
Right.
I could as you know, if I hate myself and I don't love myself, I can only fake loving other people for so long.
Right.
So love yourself love myself, and therefore I'm able to love others, right?
This is
So
beautiful. So I know in the beginning of the call, we wanted to talk about the tools and the mechanics for getting through ML and thriving in it. So I think this is going to be really big. What are some tools and some activities we can use to really tap into our self-love and our self-acceptance?
look, the number one thing I tell everybody in ML is give it 100% no matter what you feel.
Okay.
Does not matter. Give it 100%. And you will get 3,000% of the results.
Okay.
Give it 100. Like my girlfriend just went through ML, and like every 5 days, I would say, "Are you giving it 100%? Are you giving it 100%? Because when we give it 100%, the gratitude training gives us the tools in order to get through whatever we're going through. And that's the reason why it's called Masterful Living, because in that 90-day period, right, we develop tools and habits so that we can carry them forth past the 90 days. And there's a lot of studies that say that lifelong habits get built within 90 days. All right.
Right.
When
Right.
you do them repetitively for 90 days, they become habit. Right. And so for somebody that may not be feeling it, they don't know what to do with ML, they don't know how to approach ML.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's give it 100%. Trust the process. It is designed to make you fly.
Okay. Okay.
Why not give it 100%?
So you're a visionary leader, and I want to get into the nitty gritty, the detail without revealing anything gratitude. What does giving 100% look like, and what should it feel like? Because I remember the moments you gave 100%. I do. So
Yeah.
you can tap into that.
So for me, like when I talk to people about giving 100%, both like at work or whatever, it's like, are you puking at the finish line?
Okay.
Right? Like, are you throwing up, puking your brains out at the finish line? Like, did you give it all? So whatever ML told you to do, did you do it even though you didn't want to do it? Everything in your soul said, I'm not doing that. I'm not going here. I'm not doing that. Did you do it anyway? Trust in the results. And even if you don't trust the results, do it anyway. It's only 90 days. Do it.
Right.
Who cares? Listen, you joined ML. We joined ML because we wanted something different
Right.
than what we've been. Not that it's bad or worse. It's not a judgment. Different does not imply judgment. It doesn't imply better or worse. I joined ML because I wanted to be different.
Right.
Right? So I tried ML and I gave it 100% because I wanted something different. And boy, did I, oh my God, I got like 300%. Like what I got in ML is, it's amazing. It's by far the most amazing thing I've ever done in my life. For people that do part 1 and part 2 and don't do ML, I think are complete fools.
Fair.
ML legit is the best thing I've ever done in my life. Hands down. Hands down. Like, why even do part 1 and part 2 if you don't do part 3? I don't get it. I don't get it. It's like buying a Mercedes and not putting gas in it. Like, why would you do that?
So I want to talk a little bit about my crazy ass ML experience, where I had some insane lows, some insane highs, and I want to kind of speak to the truth of like how stressful it can really be, and so I can relate to and connect with anybody who's watching this. I'm like, yeah, ML is great. There's going to be all these positive results, but I'm in this shit right now. And I feel like I'm going to lose my mind. Let me tell you, man, each and every one of us were there. Our team almost fell apart, dude. Like, we pulled it together. And we kicked ass, but like, there were parts where we really didn't think we were going to make it.
We felt like that in part 2 also.
That's true. That's true. And it was amazing because I would go off into my little shell, into my little self-made prison every time I went back to Houston. And I would come up with new and more amazing stories as to why gratitude training wasn't going to work for me. And then no matter what happened, the team was always there and had my back. and made sure that no matter what was going on, no matter the circumstances, I ended up showing up for the team every single time. Unbelievable.
Yeah, man.
Unbelievable every time.
Yeah, people love you. Everybody loves you.
It's a story I'm still implementing into my habit structure, so I appreciate that.
It doesn't matter what story you tell yourself. It's the truth.
Thank you.
That story will deconstruct itself.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, I wanted to bring up this. We were talking about self-love, and you started to bring up the concept of discipline, where if you want to love yourself, go through ML, apply the training, and whether you feel like it or not, use the tools that they give you, and you will break down everything that's in the way of you loving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, gratitude training is designed to deconstruct the stories that we've told ourselves about ourselves and about the world. Right? Like I told myself that I couldn't trust people. I told myself that I couldn't trust the world. I told myself that people were messed up. People that looked like this were messed up. People that talked like this were messed up. People that said this are different than me. People that wore this are different than me. No way. We are all connected, right? So gratitude training helps to deconstruct those stories. And
it's so interesting watching your transformation from the outside, because it's like there's such a, I wouldn't say a polar opposite, because the core of Chris is always there, the loving, serving, compassionate, caring leader. But there's this one side of Chris where he's this loving, serving, compassionate, caring leader who doesn't believe in himself as himself. And then there's this other side who completely accepts himself for who he is and like won't let go of it. I love that.
Yeah, look, it's a battle, right? I mean, we're young in the journey.
Right.
To think that we got it or we've arrived I've arrived is not even close. I mean, I still that whole "who am I" question is like drives me nuts sometimes, right? So yeah, I mean, like, of course, I struggle a lot with, accepting my power, my strength, all of the inherently great qualities about myself. And there's a ton of days where I'm like, I don't have that. Yeah, but, oh my God, that's the question. That's the phrase. Yeah, but.
Yeah.
I'm good at my job. Yeah, but.
Mm.
I'm a good son. Yeah, but. Gratitude training has helped us erase yeah, but.
Mm. Yeah, my yeah, but for that last one was, yeah, but now I feel empty. What do I do?
Mm.
And I'll speak into that a little bit more. I'm so grateful that, shameless plug here, Mind Valley, if you haven't heard of it, is an amazing community, a lot like gratitude training, where it's like the Netflix of personal growth, where they talk about spirituality, physical health, building businesses, whatever you're interested in, they have it for personal growth. And I found this one video by a woman, I forget her name, I'm so sorry about that if you're watching this, but she talked about crafting an identity by going into the past and healing your inner child. That inner child that was told or made up the story, you're not good enough. And going back to that first moment where I ever said, I'm not good enough, and telling that child, look, dude, that's bullshit. Never fucking believe that.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, that one little process just transformed how I viewed my life. And it transformed how I viewed the past, how I viewed the present. And it was like the life that I thought I was living wasn't the one I was living anymore. It was like my life from beginning to end was a hero's journey rather than a victim to the world. So it was like a transformation and mindset that really changed everything for me. And I'm very grateful for Mind Valley for putting me onto that. Very grateful to gratitude training for laying the groundwork. In that same video in Mind Valley, they said, emptiness is the gift. that was the part that got me. Emptiness is the gift, because that means you get to build from there. And so
Yeah.
you have to be very careful what you build on top of that gift of emptiness.
Mm-hmm.
You can either let your old stories run back up and, bubble back to the surface, or you can make sure that you prune the garden of your mind and get rid of all the weeds and start planting some beautiful, beautiful flowers and decide who you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, for me, now looking back, a lot of the struggles that I have with myself and others has been attachment to things and the way I identify myself and with others, right? So if there's a non-attachment to any identity, right, then I am no thing. And being no thing, I can be all things.
Right.
So in that emptiness, and like emptiness not implying that it's a bad thing.
Right.
Emptiness being a blank slate so that we don't have to identify with anything, right? Because once you identify with something, then you disidentify with the opposite of it, right?
That's true.
So
Yeah.
It creates a dichotomy, a duality, right?
Yeah.
And so in that emptiness, we're open, we're free.
In the emptiness, we are free. I like that. And on that note, this has been a fucking amazing interview. Exactly what I envisioned. It was beautiful. And I have one last question for you. It's kind of a compound question. What is the impact you want to leave on the world? And what's your vision for the future?
Oh, man. The impact I want to leave on the world? I think the most important thing for me is that everyone gets that they matter. And that everyone gets to understand that they're beautiful and that they're loved. Everyone.
Amen.
Every single person. And I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't really care how we do it.
98% intentionality, 2% mechanism.
So for me, it's so important that people understand that they matter and that they're worth it. And the impact I want to leave on the world. What was the second question?
Impact you want to leave on the world, and what's your vision for the future?
My vision for the future, number one, is peace. I mean, I wholeheartedly believe in nonviolence. Wholeheartedly. So my vision for the future is a world that is truly peaceful. Right? And in that peace, it's a natural byproduct is love, connection, and unity. You cannot have peace without that. So with peace, we will all be loving, caring, and unified.
That's amazing, Chris. Thank you so much for joining me in this interview.
My brother, thank you very much for asking me. And it's a tremendous honor to spend 1 hour with you, my brother.
Amen. The God in me salutes and respects the God in you.
You too, my brother.